Be sure to go to flipsidegaming.com and use promo code 6 for 10% off on orders over $10. Do the same at the Grizzly Gentleman for fantastic beard products. They're both great deals and help us support the show. What is up, Planeswalkers? Derek 6 back with more Magic the Gathering Arena. Today we're going to play some Rakdos Midrange. Now, this deck was essentially born out of a couple of comments asking if I could somehow make Rakdos Death and Taxes. Now, I don't really think so. You can make a deck that is similar to this, that has more taxi style effects. I mean, the main one here right now is Sin Prodder. You could argue that Dreadhorde Butcher and Gonti have similar leanings as well. You know, things such as Rampaging Frostodon, maybe even Timoret. Right, there are different options that you could go with. However, I figured it wasn't right for me, so I'm not going to label this deck as that. It's just a Rakdos midrange deck that isn't using some of the, frankly, styles of Rakdos that are currently out there. Sakdos as well as Rakdos Arcanist. I just don't like those, and I wanted to play some Rakdos. I just like playing midrange. So this is the deck. The idea of the deck essentially is play annoying threats, remove your opponent's threats, and win the game. That's the goal. We'll see how it works. I guess I should actually like change this sleeve to be something, you know, Rakdosy. I forgot how long it takes to load the fucking sleeves, dude. I don't have any better sleeves than that, do I? Oh, sleek. Sure. And I am just playing this in historic ranked, not best of 3. Even though mid-range decks do prefer best of 3, I couldn't figure out a really decent way of constructing the sideboard at this moment. I streamed today. Jamoka, great. I streamed today, so I didn't really have as much time as I otherwise could. We do like this hand. We don't love it, but we do like this hand. We've got a removal turn, or a removal play, and a Golden Fetch and Kroxa play. I did get this over the course of today's stream, or yesterday's stream for you all. So I wanted to switch it up, play with it for a little bit. Also, you can see I don't have Baby Jace with me right there. Or Puppet Jace. So this is probably going to be some sort of Reanimator deck is my guess. Let's see what they get rid of here. Okay, yeah, this looks like it's a Reanimator deck. This is not really something I care about killing. Fiend Artisan is, though, so I can go ahead and kill this. Next turn we have Chandra. Turn after that we have Chandra. I do like that. I do like Chandra into Chandra. It's a pretty spicy curve. Didn't have a real 3-drop here, but I think that's fine. We get to the afterlife. Makes sense. They currently have 1, 2, 3, 4. All right. Do this. Question is, do I just plus? Do I just first plus to deal 2 damage to the face? Probably. Alternatively, I could like shoot them with Bonecrusher Giant, but I don't know if I care about doing that. No, I don't. I'm just gonna deal 2 damage to them. Sure. Sorry, didn't mean to do that. I forget that I have to hit decline in order to deal damage, which is just strange. There should just be cast, deal damage, or something like that. I don't know. Our opponent only on 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, so they can activate. They'll get to the afterlife, and they can Ugin here. I've not seen anyone play Godpharaoh's Gift with the Ulamog. I said Ugin, but I meant Ulamog. Huh. Okay. Well, that's annoying.
We're done here.
I can't beat that. What I mean is I didn't have the time. I would have needed to draw my Vraska's Contempt there, I think. Yeah, yeah. Okay. So in that situation, we would have possibly had... since we're just black-red, I probably would lean more towards... so Grafdigger's Cage doesn't help, really. But what's the Leyline of the Void is one of the things that I did consider for the sideboard. And we'll talk a little bit more at length about my sideboard choices after the games. I just love Ashiok's horrifying design. I'd like another land. Like, if this had one more land, it'd be great. So first... I'm going to be greedy and keep it, just because I like being greedy. Should I have done this? No. Should you do this? No. No, no, no. You will die. It's tapped. Fruitcake monster. It's so interesting, like, how much this, like, border clashes with this art. Hey, look, never punished. By the way, that's not true. I get punished all the time for keeping 2 lands, just because. Hey, do as I say, not as I do. All right, so Maze My Tome Forest. Is this some sort of ramp deck? Planeswalkers. Oh, wait. Is this? I guess this is Tron. I mean, I want to play Sin Prodder. I also just, like, don't want this to resolve. Or for them to have big things. So I'm going to do this. Let's see if my opponent actually has the follow-up. They don't. I mean, they have that. Is it still worth killing? Yeah, it's still just worth killing this, I think. Yeah. Next turn, I play Gonti. Hopefully steal a decent Planeswalker. Oh, wait. Why are you having... What? Oh, I get to just take this from them. That's actually pretty dope. I guess they could Fabled Passage. Oh yeah, that was a bad play for them. Potentially. I assume they have a land in hand. The rest on the bottom of that player's library. Do I care about Aetherflux Reservoir? I got one of them, then put the rest. You may look at and cast that card. I mean, I was gonna say the important thing is these are both gonna go to the bottom, but they have a Fabled Passage, so I guess playing that way worked for them. The thing is, I don't need the archive either. Like, I don't need either of these. This draws me 2 cards. I guess it's still better to just take a reservoir, because it just decreases the amount of reservoirs in their deck. So I guess that's the line. And for what it's worth, I think that's like correct. And the reason I think it's correct is because you're not getting a lot of value out of either of the cards, right? You could theoretically sack Hedron Archive in order to do some nonsense, whatever. But what we do here is we deny them percentage chances. No, I'm good. I'll keep my Gonti for right now. Another Branchwalker. I will just play this. No, I'm actually gonna block if they attack me this time. They're also like a lot of mana away from Citadel because they're playing this. I assume they have Karn the Great Creator, but you don't need that though.
I will defend my ally.
I mean, you don't need the beacon for Karn. Like, it gains you some life here and there, but I don't think it's worth the... Okay, I mean, that's also just kind of confusing to me. Let's attack Karn here. Good. This is what I wanted my opponent to do. Now I can exile their Karn.
I am proud.
Yeah, I'll just play this. Next turn I can get my Gonti back. That took essentially... I guess it's for that. I do think I just want the Gonti. Here... 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Well, I'm almost certainly going to be casting Rampage. I think we just take the Jadelight Ranger here. We cast the Rampage, have them sack an artifact. They sack the Mind Stone, obviously. Now... do I play the Sin Prodder now, or do I play the Ranger? I think it's better for me to play the Jadelight Ranger now. Library, Graveyard. Next turn I can cast Kroxa. Future Archive, that's fine. Another one, geez, alright. Okay, they don't have much going on. Can bog them. They should not draw with Hadron Archive until the end of their turn. Because if they do draw with Archive, I get to take at least one of their cards. And I assume that they don't want that. So are they not just playing Citadel? I guess they're playing what, Reservoir Engine? Is it Paradox Engine deck instead, maybe? I'll bog them. So here they sack the Hedron Archive to draw 2. They draw an additional one. They have 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 mana. So they can cast anything that they top deck here. It really is just what do they draw. We have even, odd, even. Yep. Ugin just deals with my board really easily.
Perfection is a journey, not a destination. You
Raise mine.
are too dangerous to roam free.
I do have a lot of removal in this deck. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. Yeah, I can at least hit the Ugin here. Uggin's probably going to plus kill the Sin Prodder is my guess. I really need to see a scry to the bottom. Okay, 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 okay. Wait, what did I use a Bedevil on? Ooh, that's a yikes from me. Okay, that's not a yikes though. That's not bad. Not great, don't get me wrong. But could definitely have been worse. Down bottom, all right. Yeah, I don't let that live. Oh wait. 1, 2, 3, 4. No. Oh, God, that was nearly an oopsie. I don't think that I attack here. My opponent sacks the Hedron Archive again. A matter of time until they get more value. 2, 4, 6, 8. So yeah, even at this point, if I got rid of the Forsaken Monument, they'd still be able to play big stuff. Okay, sure. Well, Citadel. So I guess it is Citadel Flux. Ugh, that's a yikes.
The axiomatic structure of reality. Consider this a warning.
Let's try and make Mardu control. So I assume that's a land. Go on a limb and say I'm boned. I believe I am officially boned. Because now he starts gaining, yeah, a lot of life. Yup. Okay. And see, this is why you like to have a sideboard, right? Because one of the sideboard cards that I was considering is Abrade. And Abrade would definitely help here. Honestly, I can't help myself. I'd probably be running Necromancer on the side as well. So let's give it one more college try. I don't remember how many Stone Shard episodes I have queued up. I want to record more Stone Shard. Sounds fine. Yorion. Okay. This hand might just be a little too removal heavy, maybe. Probably just gonna shoot him in the face. So Esper Yorion. The question is, do I want to just cast a thing? I'll cast this. Cool. I'm fine with that. I have plenty of removal. Not the Kyle. Alright, sure. Just gonna play Sin Prodder here, I think. Thoughtseize. Alright, the immediate Chandra. Why'd they say oops? Why'd they say oops there? I mean, Chandra's the take. 5 mana Tavers. Ashiok. Elspeth Conquers Death, probably. I mean, I've got removal for days. The issue is my opponent is not playing any threats. Wow, a 1-for-1 Wrath of God. I mean, considering what's going on, makes sense. They could probably... Yeah, I was going to say, just do that. So, I guess they have a counter spell up? Like, why else would they do this? Yeah, I really need to be drawing lands, though. They take Gonti. Gonti's my only threat. I have so much removal, there's really not a reason to take any of it. Yeah. If we were going against, like, an aggressive deck, we'd be set. Look at all of this remove. We could kill anything. I can kill anything better than you can. I'm gonna kill all of your ugly friends. Oh, you're pretty friends, though. They get to live. Come on, coward, play a threat. Says the guy who has yet to play a threat. I'm kidding, I play two. They both die. Counter it, you coward. Oh. I countered it. Counter this, you coward. Ah, gotcha. Now they're just going to cast Yorion, bounce this maybe. I mean, do they even cast Yorion here? Like, I just kill things. Like, I have so much removal. The issue is that my removal doesn't mean a lot. Fun fact, another card I was thinking about for the sideboard was Feed the Swarm, which would be great against enchantment decks. Hey, look, it's Yorion. Who would have thought? Well, I can kill Yorion. I guess I'll do this, because it gives me a threat or something. They get to just flip the Search Risk into, which is a yikes. Yeah, there's the ECD. Now, I can't get rid of that, which is incredibly awkward. Because my opponent is just chilling, so we're actually just going down. Gosh, another day of nothing but losses. I hope you guys don't mind, but, like, it is what it is, you know? The historic metagame just doesn't like midrange right now, I think. Yeah, which is super sad. There are no mid-range decks in Historic. You cannot convince me otherwise. Gruul is an aggro deck, and Sultai is not a mid-range deck. It's not a ramp deck. It's not a control deck. It's an Uro deck. Like that's what it is, right? So hopefully you can still like understand where I was going with this deck. We got the 3 Bloodchief's Thirst as really nice early but scalable removal. Helps us against the early creature decks by just dealing with any of their annoying early creatures. Words are hard. But also it can scale late to be able to kill even the mightiest of Ugins. 3 Thoughtseize. We're playing black mid-range. We want to play Thoughtseize. 2 Angrath Rampage. It allows us to get rid of an artifact, creature, or planeswalker. Relatively efficient. However, it doesn't target, which is why we only have 2. 4 Dreadhorde Butchers are something that can scale really well. The idea with this card is, yes, technically it's more of an aggressive card, but either firework or gunshots. But the idea is that against control, right? If you can just play this on curve and you hit your opponent a couple of times, it's relatively strong. Unfortunately, there's plenty of blink and exile, so it's not as good. Or bounce and exile, I should say. Kroxa is Kroxa, right? Like, this is just an annoying additional discard spell. You know, you turn 1 Thoughtseize, turn 2 Kroxa. That's really annoying for your opponent to have to deal with, especially if they had to mulligan or they kept a hand really relying on a critical mass. And then, of course, being able to just play it out later is quite nice. And you're not as vulnerable because Kroxa really is our only card that we play from the grave. Technically, Eldest Reborn interacts with the grave as well. But it means that our deck isn't as damaged by some of the common graveyard hate cards. 2 Murderous Riders, this, you know, it's a removal spell that you can also just have as a creature. The lifelink on this can matter, but I just like the versatility of being able to have a creature and removal, or a creature or removal. 3 Bonecrusher Giants. It hits a thing, and it becomes a creature. The reason I have 3 of this and only 2 of this is because this creature's body is more impactful, and I like being able to deal damage to my opponent's face. 3 Sin Prodders. I just really love this card. It's possible that there should be something else. I just really like this card. The art, everything about this card is great. 3 Bedevils. It targets. It's like this, but it targets. Which can be worse in some situations, don't get me wrong. But still. 2 Gontis. You get to steal your opponent's stuff. Theoretically, you can use that to disrupt your opponent's game plan, like with the Aetherworks deck. Obviously, we didn't actually, the Aetherflux deck, that didn't actually happen. But you also just take a powerful card from them and play it. 2 Contempts. It gains us a little bit of life and is just a removal at instant speed. 2 Chandra, Torch of Defiance. She comes with a lot of extra help, I suppose. I'm not in love with Chandra in this deck specifically. You do get some decent mileage out of the first plus, the -3, and if you somehow get to -7. But the second plus, we're not really like a big mana deck. You know, we do stop at 5, so it's not like we can use her to ramp into 6. And I did initially have a 6-drop. I don't remember what it was. But it's possible that she's too weak in this deck specifically. But it's hard to believe, you know, because she's Chandra. It's Torch of Defiance. 1 Eldest Reborn. I just like this card. It's a mid-range card through and through. And then 3 Chandra, Heart of Fire. Like in my mind, like the main way you win this game is you play so much removal that your opponent has nothing, and you just kill them with Chandra or one of their cards. This is our mana base. It's relatively simplistic. We do have 1 Castle Locthwain. Probably could be more. Actually, most certainly can be more. And 1 Bojuka Bog. I like the Bog. We can afford to play it. Our mana is not too tight at all. So being able to just have an extra graveyard hate card against a meta where there's a decent amount of graveyard shenanigans going on is quite nice. Then, like, for the cards that I considered in the sideboard, we have, for the graveyard decks, 1 Cling to Dust, 1 Grafdigger's Cage, Timorette. I shouldn't be saying 1, because they're all 1s, because this is not an actual deck. Lane of the Void, Erebos Intervention. So you can see there's a lot of things black can do. I've played Cling to Dust in plenty of scenarios, and I just don't like it as much as some of the other options. Grafdigger's Cage is nice because it is versatile. It hits not only some graveyard decks, but it also hits goblins and Collected Company decks. Timorette is nice because it is very similar to Scavenging Ooze. The main issue for me with Timorette is the fact that Screws you only need to hold up 1 mana at a time. With Timorette, you can still get to hit 2 things at once, but it costs, you have to hold up the 2 mana. And for what it's worth, in a deck with as many instances as we have, which is 5, but I don't know if they're counting this. They can't be, right? No, they're not counting these. Yeah, no. It's technically 10. It's not bad, right, to hold that mana up. Land of the Void is, I would probably have at least like 2 of these if I were to make this properly, but I'm not sure it's worth it right now. I'll talk more on that in a bit. And then Erebos Intervention, I do like this card. I would probably try to have some of these in there. Feed the Swarm. The Azorius control deck has a lot of enchantments. There are random enchantment decks here and there, but I'm not sure I love it. The Abrades, though, are great. Abrades can come in against a deck where you just need a higher density of removal, but also just comes in against the annoying artifact decks. Witch's Vengeance really only helps against goblins. I'm not sure I would play this. I think I would rather play Extinction Event and or Massacre Worm. Extinction Event allows you to kind of control what is getting murdered. And it also exile, so you can get rid of annoying things like Ulamogs somehow if you survive. Yes. Ugin and Ulamog. They both have G's and they both start with U's. Masquerum, it massacre stinks. This might have been the 6-drop I had in the main deck, I'm not sure. But Masquerum is just, c'est magnifique. Thought Distortion is great against control. I just love this card. It just rips apart hands, and it exiles cards from graveyards as well, which is quite nice. And then Chandra, Awakened Inferno, another card that's helpful against control. So, like, I think in a vacuum, if I made the sideboard and whatnot, this could be a decent deck. You know, just like on paper, it's like, all right, yep, you cover these bases, blah, blah, blah. I do think the deck probably still needs like a little bit more work. And I should mention that this is not like all. We show my process here. These were like all of the cards that I considered for the deck. And then I narrowed it down to what I had in the previous thing. So like, for example, one of the things that I was thinking of was Tectonic Giant and Rekindling Phoenix instead of, or like one of those instead of the Chandra. I considered maybe doing like a more discard heavy thing with Liliana, using things like Skyclave Shade to make it so that her plus doesn't hurt me as much, but then I considered the amount of incidental graveyard hate running around. So, you know, I did consider a number of things, but I think the main thing to consider here is that the historic meta is just not kind to mid-range decks at all. Don't know when that'll change. Maybe I'm also just wrong. But it seems like the historic metagame is in dire need of modifications. And I'm hoping, and frankly, I'm surprised this has not happened yet. Like, I do not understand, with the meta share it has, I do not understand how Muxus and Uro have not been banned. Now, you might be saying, Muxus is like a rare commodity these days. It doesn't matter. The gameplay patterns that Muxus operates on, at least in my opinion, are not something that you should have in like a laddering situation. It's so coin flippy. It's just awful. I hate it. Uro and Muxus, in my eyes, definitely need to go. Frankly, I would still like to see Nissa and Embercleave go. How would that, change the meta? It probably would make the Arcanist, Sack, and Artifact decks rise in power. How do you change those? I do think that maybe you just say Forsaken Monument shouldn't be in here. We got rid of Wilderness Reclamation. We got rid of Fires of Invention. Why did we get rid of those things? It's because they exploit mana in an overly powerful way. Frankly, that's what Nissa does as well. She exploits mana in an overly powerful way. And maybe Forsaken Monument needs to die for the sins, but honestly, it might just be better if, like, the problems aren't necessarily that they give you so much mana, because every deck is doing the same thing with that mana. Ugin and Ulamog. Are those cards overly powerful? Maybe not objectively speaking, but when your format only has so many answers, I don't know. Let me know what you all think about the state of mid-range decks in Historic. And I don't mean tempo. Like, tempo is different than, like, aggro control is technically different than tempo, is technically different than mid-range, is technically different than a number of different things that are all similar. Just because they plan on winning in the same part of the game doesn't necessarily mean they're all the same. But let me know what you think about specifically mid-range's place in the current Historic metagame, as well as the place of removal or answers. Not necessarily just removal, but I think answers to the threats that are currently available. I think they're grossly insufficient. And I think it's just because Wizards feels, and there's a vocal amount of people who state that they don't like when their cards go bye-bye. They want to play their cards and do the things with their cards. I ain't playing Solitaire. I'm playing Magic. You cast a threat, I'm answering that threat. That's the type of player I am. I like to answer your things and then play my own things. So we'll see. But I would like to know what you all think. Anyway, I'd like to thank my lovely patrons. This should change in the coming days because I am finally going to get around to editing. Hopefully a number of things. Who knows? I'm also waiting for my stream deck to come, but whatever. I'd like to thank especially Fogwind, Malik, and Baltair for their continued support. If you'd like to join them supporting the show, you find a link in the description below. Do, of course, hope you've enjoyed this video. If you did, like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. And of course, until next time, I will be one.